is live, and I'm going to put out my little retweet, my live now retweet, and we're going to get things started on so many levels. Hello, everybody. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Woohoo! Yay!
I am Christiana Ellis. I am the Dungeon Master. Our players, Mark Kilfoyle as Alaric Copperbeard.
I'm starting to get the hand of this thing.
Starla Hutchton as Nirakina Ethu.
Greetings and salutations.
Jenny Meltzer as Cadence of the Water.
Hi, guys.
James Meltzer as Ket of the Sands.
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
And, oh my goodness, look at those blonde locks. It's Chu Schubert as Otterkey out in the sunlight. What?
Hello, hello.
Those of you only listening to the audio version, you're missing out. I'm sorry. There's just no way to describe what happened there. So we have our current full complement tonight, with everybody, recovering from the fight last week. So what happened last week? Well, you returned to the City of Jewels from the mine, bearing the strange artifacts and new friends that you picked up there in that mine. But it was a little unclear what the mine's owner was going to have to say about it. You were worried that he might feel exactly the way he turned out to feel, which is that anything you found there belongs to him, including the people. And the mysterious robot arm that had attached itself permanently, as far as anyone can tell, to Alaric. And it was kind of complicated until it turned out that there was some sort of a ploy that Zoreth had been working on all along with Jinxie to turn the tables on Onyx the Djinn and force him to flee his own throne room after you guys had all procured the magical shackles that was the price for clearing out his mine. But having defeated his earth elemental guards and Zoreth having sent a flow of portal delivered lava into the throne room, you all piled into a new portal to destination unknown. And we pick up as you pass through that portal. Each of you, as you pass through this portal, feel at first as though you're just emerging into total blackness. All of you have dark vision, but it is in fact very dark. The only light of any kind is coming from the purple glow of this fissure that you've just passed through. And once your eyes adjust a bit to see anything else around you, you see that it is it's a very blasted, barren landscape with rocky soil everywhere you can, as far as you can see in your immediate vicinity. And you look up and you're definitely outside from the feel of this chill breeze that's blowing past, but there are no stars in the sky, no moon, nothing. It's complete blank up in the sky. And indeed, as you emerge into this new place, there's just something wrong with the air. It just feels stale somehow, even though you're apparently outside. There's just sort of a heaviness to your surroundings. But you all pass through, and eventually you're all standing there together, just past this fissure, and the first one to speak is Jinxie, who, upon passing through the fissure, makes a loud groan of, like, "Ugh!"
Is this someplace that maybe we have been in our travels before that we would recognize?
Make an Arcana check or a History check, I guess, either one of those.
18.
I don't know that you would have ever been here, but I think having experienced a lot of different planes and the various just ways that they feel, there is a distinct negative energy to this plane that is very strong. You know, the various planes that you've encountered have differing levels of positive and negative energy to them. This one is very strong on the negative end of the spectrum, and you suspect that it might be the Shadowfell.
I just sort of, like Ket and I were already sort of like holding hands. I just sort of like edge a little closer to him.
Zorath, having, calmed a bit from the manic devilishness that he expressed upon banishing Onyx from his own throne room, has calmed somewhat, and he turns to look at each of you and just say, do you all have dark vision?
Yes.
Yes.
Doesn't help if it's just pitch black, though. Where in the arse end of hell did you put us?
The place where we will be the safest from the pursuing Fae.
Where the hell is that?
How familiar are you with the various planes? Never mind that. We can explain this later. First, we should get from in the open. The fact that we all can see in the dark will aid us in moving stealthily. We don't have far to go. I have a stronghold set up here.
Lead the way.
As you're starting to get on the way, Jinxie just kind of groans kind of to herself. The Shadowfell is so boring.
The what?
Not as boring as fights, right, Jinxie? I thought you'd be into that. What the fuck?
Archie, I'm a liar, not a fighter. It's important that you understand that about me.
And how the hell are we supposed to believe that if you're a liar?
Well, guess that's up to you, isn't it? At this point, Zorath shushes her. And he actually stops for a moment and turns to all of you and says, when we pass through the town, there are shades. They are invisible, seen only in reflections. They should not harm us, but they may be attracted to our life force. If they cluster around us, if any of you have anything vibrant, colorful, it will likely draw their attention away from us, and we can pass through unmolested. I don't anticipate any specific dangers, but be on your guard. The Shadowkai can be dangerous.
Excuse me, Mr. Zorath. How did you do that how did you open that portal?
Well, I see your new friends have not seen fit to fill you in on everything yet.
Well, there wasn't exactly time for that.
We were fighting. I'm just curious, because every adventure that myself and Cadence have been on, we've always had to, like, hunt down portals and go find them in various places, but you just zip and open it up.
Indeed, if there is now or ever has been another with this ability, I am not aware of them. I have been transformed through exposure to a powerful artifact created by the Fae. Beyond that, I don't think I can give you any more detail that you would find satisfying.
No, that's fine. I just was curious. Just interesting, that's all. Right, Kate? Interesting, huh?
Yes, it's very curious.
We will have much more time to discuss once we arrive at the stronghold. For now, we should be discreet.
Of course.
Anything else we should keep an eye out for besides the Shadow Kai?
The shades in the town are not the Shadowkai. They are just echoes, you might say, of life in the prime material plane at this location. They are reflections of one another, you might say. But the Shadowkai are beings that have, over millennia, adapted to this place and are powerful here. I don't anticipate encountering any of them, but you should just be aware that there is a possibility of dangerous adversaries, and so you should remain on your guard.
And what do they look like? Just in case we see one creeping up on us.
He kind of gives a sort of glance at Nira briefly and just says, I believe at one time there were elves, but now they look wizened, withered.
Shrunken elves, gotcha.
Should we try to blend in with the others? Should we just like move stealthily, quietly, or should we just act like, we're just here? Hello.
Stealth is our best option.
Do you want me to maybe cast Pass Without a Trace on us?
Yes, please.
If you
I
have
love that one.
If you have that capability, it would be most useful.
Let me see if I still have a spell slot. I do! So I will cast Pass Without a Trace on everybody except for Jinxie.
Okay.
I can only cast it on 6 people.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah.
She didn't help us
You can
fight,
leave-
so she
you
can
can leave me
fend
out.
for herself.
I'm good on my own.
She
Okay.
she kind of notes that happen, and she kind of. Oh, so wait, Alaric, you're volunteering to.
Yeah, I'm good on my own.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So Jinxie accepts then.
Okay.
All right. So as you guys are right now, just kind of in a featureless plane, and even those of you who have dark vision, it's generally only going to be able to see about 60 feet ahead of you, right? Because that's the dark vision trait. And so as you are making your way, you appear to be up on a hillside of some sort, and it's not too steep a slope to go down, but there's no path, but there's also no plant or animal life of any kind that you can see. It's just a completely dead landscape, rocks, sand, that's it, and a cold wind.
Kate, this
So-
is your sandbox.
Yes, I
As we go along, would there be like rocks and stuff scattered around?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. So as we're walking, I want to be relatively close to where Zorith is, and I would like to accidentally trip.
Okay.
Accidentally trip.
All right. So let's see.
With the intention of bumping into him.
Okay, just like a bump, or like you're actually gonna fall.
I don't want to actually fall.
Okay. So, like, if he were to just not respond at all, you wouldn't want to fall on your face.
I would be okay. Yeah,
You're
no.
this is a jostling.
Yes. just-
Okay, well, no roll required for jostling. Perhaps a
check.
performance check to see how obvious it is that it's on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm picturing this either of one of two things. Either it's the romantic, falling in front of the or it's the, Oh no! I accidentally fell on Zora 44 times with my dagger.
Okay, so that is an 18 with the performance.
Okay,
thing, so.
yeah. I think that he sort of snaps at you at first to just kind of say, "Watch your footing. This is very treacherous territory."
I'm so sorry. It's just difficult to see. I'm so sorry.
Yes, well, that's all right. I understand that this is an unfamiliar place. I know it may seem ominous now, but I think in time you'll see that, as I do, that it's somewhat relaxing.
Well, I think in that much I trust your judgment.
I run over. Mira, are you okay? Do you need healing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. I'll go back to Cadence.
Is anybody terribly injured for that matter?
Well, yeah, I'm still about 50 points down, but hopefully I'll be okay.
Oh, I've got 15 points left, but I'm also pretty down. Oh well. We'll be fine.
You know, actually, as we're walking, can I do like prayer of healing as we walk?
Yeah, I think so, because you're making it's not a quick pace. It's
Okay. I'm going to do that at level 3.
Okay.
Because I have spell slots for that. Where are you? There you are. Okay. So that is a 3d8 plus 4. 12 and 18, 22. So everybody, that is
Whoa.
up to 6 creatures. So I don't think Zorath or Jinxie took any
No,
damage.
they're
So-
fine. They don't need it.
Okay, all y'all take your 22 if you need it.
Yeah.
That's a powerful prayer.
As you're making your way down this slope, it eventually sort of evens out, and you're walking across level ground. And in fact, soon you realize that you're walking on what seems to be the ancient remains of a road, but it's long eroded, just sandblasted. There's no weeds growing up through it because there's still no plant life of any kind that you can see, but it is somewhat flat, and you can see that there are, signs of paving stones and so on. And you continue walking for another 15 to 20 minutes, and then looming out of the shadows, you see what could almost be a small town, but the twisted nightmare version of it. There are recognizable buildings like shops or houses, but everything is black and sharp edges and, sagging and leaning, and there's no activity at all that you can see. And it's at this point that very quietly Zorath kind of just makes eye contact with all of you and just places one finger to his lips. And so at this point, I'll have everybody make a stealth check. And if you are one of the ones in the Pass Without Trace, you can add 10 to that.
Natural 20, so 32.
All right, not bad.
34.
37.
29.
13.
Thank goodness for Pass Without Trace,
My
huh?
armor is still busted.
Damn that armor.
Yeah.
You just
So,
stuff cotton balls in them or something?
yeah. So you guys are all moving so silently that it's just very glaring that like you're all being just totally quiet, no sound but the wind, the occasional sound of grit blowing across the ground, and then of course clank, 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 clank. It's not loud, but given the total silence otherwise, you can't help but notice. As you're making your way through what seems like it's would be the main square of this little village, you do hear kind of just in the periphery what sounds like moaning, whispering murmurs, just sort of on the edge of your awareness.
You good? You guys hear that?
All around you, and Zorath turns and again. As you're moving further through the town, these sounds do start to come closer, and let's see. Nira, you just walking along suddenly feel as though you've just bumped up against like someone, but there was nothing there.
Going to move. Shit. Part of me just kind of wants to stop because I don't want to attract more attention. You know what? I am going to do that. I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to cast Thaumaturgy 30 feet away, because that's my range.
Mm-hmm.
With I can cause a door to fly open or shut.
Okay.
So something within range that would be like that, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, like there's doors on these various buildings, and so you can cause one to sort of slam open and make a loud banging. And as soon as that noise happens, which just clatters dramatically in the quiet, you all hear these sort of whispering, moaning voices kind of suddenly start lurching in that direction, and you all actually feel a little bit like a crowd of ghosts is sort of passing through and among you.
So are these undead creatures?
You don't really even see them at all. They're totally invisible.
But could I sense them because they're one of my favorite enemies?
Yes, I think they are technically undead. No, they're not actually.
Okay.
So, but at the same time, they are very undead-like in that sense, and so I don't think you sense them specifically. But what I'm saying is, you all have this just vague sensation of not quite their people, like a crowd of people trying to push through you, and like you guys are sort of doing the swimming upstream thing.
Can I cast See Invisibility?
Is that a spell that you have?
It is, yeah. It just says for the duration you see invisible creatures and objects as if they were visible, and you can see into the ethereal plane. Ethereal creatures and objects appear ghostly and translucent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you absolutely can do that. Does that spell require a vocal component?
It says a pinch of talc and a small sprinkling of powdered silver.
Well, so it should have the little SMV.
It says BSM, yeah.
Yeah, so it just means that it requires you to say a magic word aloud. So I'll let you make another stealth check. You are still within the Pass Without Trace.
Technically, I should have had to do that too, because the cantrip that I cast is
the
a
thaumaturgy
part. Yeah.
23.
But if it was making a noise elsewhere, like it might.
Yeah, you know what? I'll allow it. I think it's okay. That one, the cantrip specifically being to make a noise somewhere else, like, yeah. So in any event, I think you're able to do those things subtly, and you're aided, of course, by the Pass Without Trace. But as soon as you feel the magic sort of, filming over your eyes, almost like just a little fantasy Instagram filter, All of a sudden you see all around you are humanoid figures. They could be human, but they're very indistinct. They're like they have heads but no faces, almost like mannequins. And they're not really wearing clothes. They're just humanoid shapes. But you can see that they are definitely sort of very slowly and kind of in a staggering gait making their way over towards the sound that was made.
I just kind of sidle up to Zorath, and I just whisper to him, "I can see them all."
He looks at you and he just says, "If they swarm us, toss something colorful."
Okay. And I will slowly make my way to the other party members and just whisper them the same thing.
Yeah, just in case anyone didn't hear me because I was whispering it. What he said is, "If they swarm us, throw something colorful." But in the meantime, you guys are making your way through this town, and let's get another stealth check from everybody.
24.
30.
35
Only rolled a 19, so 31.
24.
only.
That's a pretty stealthy group. Pass without trace doesn't hurt. So I'd say you guys don't really have. I mean, I think especially with Ket perhaps leading the way and kind of guiding everyone sort of away from maybe where these things are more clustered. You guys really don't have any additional encounters with them, but you can see, Ket, that there's a lot of them, and for the most part, without something to draw their attention, they really kind of just stand in one spot and maybe sway a little bit, but they're just really not doing anything.
I just take note of how eerily creepy that looks.
In the meantime, as you're passing through this town, suddenly, again, out of the darkness, you realize that there is what looks like a keep of some kind here in this town. There's a curtain wall that's about 20 feet wide, or not wide, high, with a big gate and a portcullis, and then some sort of a house, a fortress-like structure inside. It's not huge, but it's got at least 2 stories, and it looks like it's maybe 50, 60 feet on a side inside this wall. And as you reach the portcullis, Zorath pulls a wand out from a pack, just gently taps it on the portcullis, and the portcullis lifts. It makes a fair amount of noise. It doesn't look like it's moved very much. And he, kind of keeps an eye over his shoulder a little bit, but gestures that you should move in.
Head in.
Let's go.
Should hurry on through.
All right, so he lowers the portcullis again with another tap of the wand after everyone's in, and goes over to the front door of this keep and pulls out. He puts the wand away and then pulls out what looks like just sort of a brass knickknack of some sort. And then he places it on the door of this keep where a door knocker might be. And then it just hangs there as though it is a door knocker, and then he uses it and then takes it away, and the door creaks open.
So many wonderful toys.
He kind of turns and just says, "I've had a lot of time to think about this."
Clearly.
And then he ushers you all inside and closes the door behind him, and then to all of you he says, I have not taken I have not taken many steps in terms of making this place comfortable. But we should be safe here.
Safe is a pretty good comfort right now. So much going on.
I chose this place because it would seem that the Fae are currently our most powerful enemies. This place is anathema to them. The Feywild is this plane's polar opposite. They would not come here without incredible cause, and even should they find that cause, they will find it viscerally unpleasant to even exist here.
It seems like you've thought of everything.
Well, life is unpredictable, and you cannot plan for every possible configuration of events, but sometimes things work out.
Sometimes they do.
We should probably still post a guard. The Fae might not want to come here, but they have people they work with. I'm sure of it.
Absolutely. We'll have to take some precautions. We'll have to discuss, for that matter, our next steps. We have the shackles. I have the gem. But, as previously discussed, I suspect that I will need your help in persuading Melicanth to cooperate once we release her from the gem.
Some of us can be pretty persuasive when we've a mind to be.
I'm very persuasive.
Still not sure this plan is the best in any way. I don't know if I trust you any more than I did Melicanth. I'm not even sure I didn't trust her.
What is it that you are actually trying to do now that we have a moment to discuss what your plans are? We don't really know that much about you or what you are doing.
I think somebody needs a history lesson.
I think Zorath kind of looks to the rest of you and just to say, I am not much in the mood to recount the whole story at present. I shall leave you to tell them what you wish. I have preparations to make. In particular, there is a room that must be prepared. It will take me... He kind of does some mental math, and take me at least 2 days to make it fully prepared and sealed so that it cannot be discerned from the outside.
Does that mean we won't see you for 2 days?
I will be around, but busy.
Do you have anything to eat?
I have basic travel provisions. If it is absolutely necessary for us to obtain something, then we can perhaps make a jaunt through one of the fissures that I have already created. For that matter, Jinxie, check the traps. And Jinxie kind of rolls her eyes, but then goes up some stairs off to one side.
What sort of traps?
And he snaps his fingers, and a few torches. They're in this little open foyer. It's sort of a hall in this keep. There are stairs on 2 sides leading up to the next level, and a couple of hallways that would seem to lead to other rooms, and then sort of a big assembly area. And he says, as you may have seen, I can create these fissures where I like. I'm not at present able to close them again afterwards. So, I have created some fissures that are meant to aid me in my travels. But when I leave a place behind, I cannot be certain that no one has traveled through after me. The traps are meant to have captured anyone who may have inadvertently or deliberately traveled through one of the fissures from this stronghold to this stronghold from the other side.
Those could be handy. Where do they go to? And how many do you have?
There are 4 within this current stronghold. 2 of them go to different locations in the prime material plane. 1 goes to another location in the elemental plane of Earth, other than which we just came from. One more private location, secret. And the other goes to Limbo.
Limbo.
Are you able to open up a portal to the Lorenz Desert by any chance?
I could. Why?
Well, me and Cadence, that is where we are from, and we have never been able to get back there. That's where we come from. We how do I say it? Cade, help me out here.
We would like to go home and see what happened there. I mean, we don't even know how long we were statues.
We come from a place in the Lorenz Desert. It is an oasis of such called Emerald Arboris. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but that is where we are from. And there is a tree there, which the different branches are portals to other planes of existence. And for some reason, we haven't been able to travel back there. We try to, but we just end up someplace else. The tree, there's something wrong with it, and we haven't been able to get home, and we've been petrified for what could be thousands of years. And we don't know what is left of our homeland now.
Which is why it was so interesting to me that you were able to just open portals like it was no big deal.
Well, I would not go so far as to say that it is no big deal, as you say. It is easy, but not a trivial act. Especially given that I'm not able to close them again. At present.
That's our job.
Dangerous.
So, it is risky to risk opening a portal to a place that may have unknown dangers. I would not wish to do so from here.
Oh, no, I was just wondering if you could do it, or if you've heard of Emerald Arboris or the Emerald Tree. You seem to have gotten around. I'm just wondering if you've heard of those things, or if you know of what has become of them. That is all.
He kind of looks pensive for a moment, and he says, I spent some time scattered across all the planes at once. It is an experience that is difficult to describe, but I have seen much. I am familiar with a place in the Lorenz Desert, but some of what you have described does not match my recollections. I will meditate on it and see what else I can recall.
I would
Please do.
appreciate that.
Yes,
So-
we would appreciate it.
As he's talking, Niers is watching him with wide, curious eyes.
I think that are you how obvious are you trying to be here?
No, like she's fascinated.
Okay.
Like, legitimately fascinated.
All right. I think that he is kind of starting to notice and look a little bit awkward. He looks to all of you and just says, "It is interesting that these individuals should come across other planar travelers. Tell me again, you didn't fully explain how you came to meet when last we discussed this. And I don't begrudge you being shy with the details at that time, but I would be interested in knowing more."
Well, after we cracked open well, we didn't really crack it open. It was had been cracked open. After the Death Tyrant was defeated, we went down into its lair, and there were very convenient things down there. And
how do you mean convenient?
Items of particular interest that were very specific to us. So, I mean, you saw the flower that I brought out.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And the
something in the book.
And he kind of just points to Alaric's arm, sort of like
That's
Hey, I didn't want this thing. It just sort of.
yeah, that's something else entirely. But these two were down there, petrified, with conveniently 2 scrolls of greater restoration at their feet. And so I restored them. And here they are.
would.
As I said,
I am-
everything there was very convenient.
This is intriguing. My concern now is only that investigating these mysteries may still be a secondary priority to our first mission, which is to... Our first priority now must be to make this place entirely safe for us to take our next steps, whatever those may be. I am interested to know more, and there may be perhaps additional detail to be gleaned. If perhaps you were petrified for a long time, that may explain why what you described of your home did not match what I saw.
Yes, that sounds right. I mean, I don't even know like what year it is or anything. I've tried to figure it all out, but from what I gather, we've been petrified for, oh my god, it could be thousands of years, it could be thousands of millennia. I do not know.
He looks like really interested, but kind of like holding himself back, like... First, this place must be made safe. Then, there will be a great deal to learn, I'm sure. I am glad that my allies were able to rescue you, and I suspect that you may provide great use to our efforts.
There isn't perhaps a library here, is there?
Not as such. I have certain research materials that I have used in the past, but I would not leave them in a place like this. At this point, Jinxie comes back down the stairs and just says, "Nothing but a dumb halfling kid in the Gorn portal. I just dumped him back through it. He's fine. I mean, you know, like a little dehydrated maybe, but he'll be fine." And then I think Jinxie at this point will kind of sort of, sweep up her hands and say, "So, can I tell him?" And at this point, Zorath just shoots her just like total stink eye, like, "What are you doing?"
Of course.
Tell us what?
There's another shoe to drop.
Isn't there always?
Nothing which pertains to our primary goal. Only the amusement of my subordinate here. Very well. And Jinxie, at this point, just kind of grins and just says, "Well, I thought you guys would be interested to know that when I went back through to Uthbithra to get that armor, there was a lot going on, and it was just kind of crazy. And I figured if we had some time, we could go back and just check all that out a little bit more. There's a great big land turtle spirit thing just stomping everything, and people screaming. It was awesome.
Wow.
Well, I mean, exciting. Not awesome, but
Yeah.
thrilling.
We saw the big land turtle thing off in the distance, I remember.
Huh, yeah, well, it's
Looked
closer now.
Pretty exciting.
I hope our friends are all right.
She kind of
Maybe
does
the,
the so-so gesture, like, eh.
Maybe the giants can take care of them now. Maybe that now they've woken up.
Anyway,
I'm gonna
I
need
was
to go-
interested in finding out, but we had so much to do, so...
Yeah.
And at this point, I think Zorath just says, so, as you can see, I think whatever is happening back there is of secondary importance to saving the multiverse, which is why I did not care to worry you with concerns that would distract you from that. But here we are.
Does that mean we have armor for Squeaky over there?
I was gonna say, I do have some stuff to pick up, you know. I kind of do need to go that direction.
I mean, if people are dying, shouldn't we try and help them?
Can we maybe get some sleep first?
Well, yes, that too.
I wouldn't trust every word that Jinxie says, so whether they were dying or just...
But if it's interesting,
She
would
shoots you
definitely
finger
not
guns,
lie.
Alaric. And I think at this point, Zorath does just say, indeed, I imagine all of us could use some rest.
Yeah.
There are chambers in this stronghold. As I have said, they are not what I would necessarily call comfortable, but they are secure, at least for the time being. The entities which reside in this plane over time will be drawn to the life energy. It was one thing when it was just Jinxie and I here, but all of us here will attract attention, which is why I must make preparations to ensure that any magical interventions we may need to make will be done in privacy.
Well, if you need any help, please let me know.
How
The,
familiar are you with warding glyphs?
Well, I know a little bit here and there. Not completely useless.
So, what are you guys doing? I think at this point he kind of says, if you'll excuse me for the moment, I need to ensure that the chamber is ready for such preparations, and then I suspect we all need some rest.
Yeah, indeed.
Agreed.
Yeah, we need to prep to sleep for sure. Cadence and Ket, if I could have a moment.
Of course.
Yes, Archie, whatever you want.
Just FYI, if you guys are still in this main area, Zorath has gone off somewhere. Jinxie's hanging out with you guys, unless you are finding somewhere private. Just
No, I don't need to.
Alright.
Yeah. I
Well, if Archie's going to talk to them, I can go off with Jinxie out and ask her more questions about what's going on in Uspithra.
okay. So if Nira is sort of drawing Jinxie off somewhere to have that conversation, let's stick with Archie here first, but then we'll cut over to the other conversation.
I wanted to thank you both by way of an apology. I've been going through a lot. I mean, we've all been going through a lot, but I've been particular doing a lot of soul searching, I guess you'd say, and my place in the world and all that. I am pledged to vengeance. You know, that has been my life. A lot of my life has been darkness and anger and revenge. And I was perfectly fine to let the Jinn keep you both. Because we made an agreement, you know, what's his is his, what's ours is ours. But Ket, your speech, it really touched me. And Cadence's actions and battle and outside of battle. And so I wanted to apologize for just, you know, initially thinking I would leave you all behind. And thank you, because I realized that I don't think I've been using my powers as the best way possible. Like means don't always justify ends, I guess I should say. And some of my powers take over people's minds and bodies, and you know, that's just wrong. And you know, you are free tabaxi, and others that we encounter are free creatures, and I'm not going to use those powers anymore. So, thank you.
Well,
welcome. I suppose.
I mean, I appreciate your honesty, Archie, and I do not know you very well, but I can tell you are sincere and honest in your words. And if anything that we've done has been able to help you understand yourself better, then I am glad we could help. And I would also like to thank you and all of you, really, for freeing us and for helping us and for taking us along. You had no reason to pick us up or to take us with you at all. We are two strangers, yet you showed us kindness in this time. So
You could have left us as statues.
Yes, but you didn't. So thank you as well, Archie. And I hope we can get to know each other better as time goes on.
Indeed.
Now come on, bring it in.
We've got
Hug me out. All right.
hug it out.
Check it out.
So, Alaric, what were you up to during that? Did you follow off with Nira and Jinxie off doing your own thing, or?
I'm just going to find out what else is in this building, so I'm just going to
Okay.
wander around.
Okay. So I think what you find as you explore is that the ground level has rooms, you know, that you would expect in, you know, a keep of this size. On this level, it has, you know, some rooms that seem like they would be storage rooms. Maybe one that would be a kitchen and pantry. There's the big sort of open area you suspect, you know, could be used like for dining, but there's really no like furniture or furnishings in it. Everything's kind of just empty and dreary. After Zoreth snapped, there are these torches that are magical flame. It's not real fire, but it gives off a fire-like light with no heat, and they illuminate as you enter a room and then turn back off when you leave the room. And there's at least one in each of these places, but a lot of these rooms are just empty on the ground floor. As you go up to the second floor, there are a number of rooms where it would probably be bedchambers, and there's 4 or 5 of them that are empty and have sort of like, there's some remnants of furniture and everything, but it's mostly kind of just totally ruined and decayed, and not even rotten, but just like somehow it just sort of slowly in the process of disintegrating. And everything's very dry, so there's no like musty smell or anything. It's just stale. But a couple of the rooms that would have been similar otherwise, as you open the door, you can see that there's these various fissures in them, and there's one per room in 4 different rooms.
Do I see signs of the traps?
Go ahead and make a perception check, I guess.
So that's a natural 20, so 27.
Yeah? You definitely see various subtle little runes, and some of them are not even especially well hidden, because if anyone were to trigger them, it would be coming through the fissure where they wouldn't have seen it before anyway. But without necessarily having an expertise, like you would need to make a different check to try to discern exactly how each trap would work. But you do see several sort of runes and glyphs that you suspect to be magical traps.
Does it look like there'd be a way to get around them if I wanted to go out?
It looks like it would be tricky, but possible.
Are they on the floor, or do they extend to the ceiling?
It's a little different in each room, but essentially what you think is that in effect, you would need to make a dexterity check to just sort of be able to step around them and get to the fissure to go through it without, interacting with them. But it's essentially designed primarily to trigger for anyone who comes through unawares. Right, so it would probably be much more difficult to do the reverse, like to come back and not trigger them, but to go out and not trigger them, you think is definitely possible.
Okay.
And even coming back is not impossible, but especially if you kind of know where they're likely to be, but it would be more difficult.
Is there a third floor or a roof access?
There is access to, the access to the next level up goes to the roof of this structure, where it has kind of battlements, I guess. The castle top thingies, whatever they call that. I don't remember.
I'm gonna try to keep low and out of sight and see what I can see from up there.
Okay.
Of the landscape from that height.
Like turrets, kind of.
Yeah, I guess I just mean, like those, the alternating blocks, right? So in any event, there's still no light really of any kind from outside, so you'd really only still be able to see out to the limits of your dark vision.
And there's no light on the horizon or nothing.
No. The sky is complete blank. It's empty.
Well, that's weird. He pauses, thinks about something, and then shakes his head. Goes back down to one of those empty rooms. Sees if he can make himself comfortable.
Right.
Find a way to... I guess there's not much to prop against the door, but I've got a few extra daggers that I can put in the braces of the door to keep it closed.
Yeah. So it's no fine feather mattress, but in terms of you've certainly camped outside, and it's out of the wind, and
Wood is a lot springier than stone, that's for sure. Unfortunate, but it's true.
All right. So Nira, what do you say to draw Jinxie out?
Well, actually, I was thinking, and I'm curious about something. I was wondering if you could answer some questions for me.
Oh yeah?
About yourself, entirely about yourself.
Sure. I'm an open book.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just, no hard feelings about that fight earlier. I didn't really mean it. I was just a little frustrated.
Oh, you know what? I just, Melicanth, I'm sure, just put all sorts of thoughts in your head. And besides, we're still getting to know each other. It's fine. Water under the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I was mostly curious about... Sorry, I had a bug flying in front of my face. It's really annoying. What I was really curious about is how did you hook up with Zorath? Like, where did you meet him?
Well, you mean like originally, before the big stuff?
I didn't know there was an originally. I feel I need to hear this story. So
Well, you
start at the
know,
beginning.
I mean, back before his, big ritual, blew him into a million pieces or whatever, I was just part of the mercenary company that he hired to guard his little temple hideout. But,
did he know about you at the time? What
well,
you can do?
not at first, but, it gets boring, that kind of detail. I mean, it's just me and these 3 other guys, and we're not given anything to do except to make sure that the goblins and the kobolds don't come in and mess everything up. And it's like, once you kill a couple of them, it's like they know better, so it's really just kind of hanging out, except you have to be on guard. It's really boring. And so, I just, I played a few pranks, and, eventually, Zorath, he figured it out. He's pretty smart, even if he's a total stick in the mud.
Yeah, I have noticed that about him. He knows a lot of things.
Very serious.
I noticed that too.
Everything's about the end of the multiverse.
So after the big stuff,
Yeah.
after everything went boom,
Mm-hmm.
what happened then?
Well, you may recall upon
Mhm.
our previous meeting that I kind of woke up in the temple. I'd been trying to steal those stupid rubies from that statue, but then I wake up, I come out of the temple, and it's a little different, and I figure out, what? Decades have gone by? That's crazy! But things were a lot more chaotic, so that was fun. There had been, the war resumed and all that good stuff. So, I just went out and I did my thing. I had the misadventures of Jinxie all over the place. And, I made my way up to being the personal assistant to the Tashmian ambassador there in Villanocta. And, I'd been doing that for a while. That was an excellent place to get gossip and just have all sorts of mischief. It was good stuff. But then you guys showed up, and I was just thinking, I was starting to feel a little, itchy feet, like restless, out to get out there in the world. And I thought it would be awesome to just travel with you guys and have adventures with you for a little bit, given that we had a history and everything. And then Melicanth had to just spoil everything and turn you against me and whatever. And you guys didn't know what you were doing either. It's fine. It's fine. So obviously now, you guys banished me, which was, I'm going to go ahead and say, water under the bridge. But that was not fun. Okay? I came to the Prime Material Plane because I like it a lot better than Limbo. For sure.
Well, that's understandable.
Yeah. So, in any event, I was there for a while, didn't love it, and then Zorath shows up, says, "Hey, I've got a whole new thing going. I could use someone with your talents." And so, long story short, here we are.
So he picked you up in Limbo?
Yeah.
Just passing through, huh?
Well, he knew just right where he came right to me. He knew where I was somehow, so came and got me.
He does have a lot of wonderful toys.
Yeah, well, I think it has something to do with him temporarily for 100 years being able to see everything in the universe all at once. So he kind of knows where stuff is.
Yeah, I find that fascinating. I can't imagine.
I guess, except that what does he use it for?
Saving all of
I
the
don't know.
planes?
Okay, I take it back.
That seems legitimate.
See, I don't care about that, but that personal revenge thing that he had going on with Onyx, I think Onyx is like his dad. It was kind of awesome that whole thing. And the fact that Onyx got away means it's just going to come back at some point. It's, the drama is amazing.
You are an interesting creature, you know that?
She does the finger guns again.
So, tell me about Ushbithra.
Yeah, so there's, I guess, a giant spirit.
It's the spirit of the grass plains, of the Golden Plains.
That would make sense. There was more of that grass just all over the place. So I guess if it's coming closer, it makes more of that grass show up. I guess that makes sense. But yeah, so it came stomping right into town, crushing buildings left and right. There's a lot of chaos and made it very easy to slip in and out without armor. But, I wanted to stay longer, but, I'm like on task, right?
You did pay for it, correct?
Sure.
Well, I mean, if you didn't give them the money, I'm more than happy to take it back. I don't suppose you noticed whether Archie's armor was ready yet, did you? He's so noisy.
I mean, in the workshop there was more stuff like I guess he was working on. They were working on it, but it didn't look done.
And it's probably difficult to finish with, chaos. That could be problematic.
Yeah, I will say that the actual shop was in good shape, but there's a lot going on. I think that whoever was doing the work probably had other priorities right at that moment. Yeah. But of course, I mean that's hours ago now, so who even knows?
I have to wonder what would cause. I mean, the spirits in that part of Sakamian are so different than the other half of the world. They're very wild and unpredictable, but it still seems, after so much time where that spirit acted in a certain way, that there would be something driving this unusual behavior and this rampaging.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, something was doing it.
It
was riled up.
Yeah. You didn't happen to see anything that might point to a potential cause or in the right direction thereof?
I mean, I didn't see anything. I think, it was a lot going on. And, I will say, like, even Zora, though Zorath's like a pain in the ass about it, like, that's why I kind of wanted to tell you guys, because, like, I wanted to see more, but I knew that I had to get you that armor right away because it's so critical that we get to blah, 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 blah.
Well, it was pretty important for me to...
I'm very glad that I got you your armor.
Well, think of it this way. If you hadn't gotten my armor, I would probably be dead. And if I was dead, I would be a lot less interesting.
That's true. I don't regret getting you your armor. I just regret having to leave when all that good stuff was happening. So, like, if you guys wanted to go back, like, that seems a lot more fun than hanging around here for a few days. So, I don't know. I was just thinking. But, Zorath's going to be a pain about it because, he's got his whole thing going on and he's going to say, oh, anything that distracts us from our goal. Blah, blah, blah.
Archie does need that armor, though. It's so problematic. It's really inconvenient. I don't know. I don't suppose maybe there's anything that might convince him to, like, sort of do as you will that you can think of.
You gonna seduce our boy Zorath?
Not really where I was going with that.
Isn't it?
I don't know if there was, like, some magic words that you say to let him... so that he lets you go and do your thing like you do.
Well, it's not like I've got, like, a magic switch that I can flip and have his personality totally change. Basically, he lets me do what I want so long as when he asks me to do something, I get the job done.
All right. Well,
and sometimes it's an ongoing negotiation, but I don't have... he is awfully protective about who he lets into his brain. He's got some sort of gizmo for it, honestly.
Interesting. Like an actual physical object that.
Well, it's a
shields
magic
him.
thing. Yeah.
Right.
You know, I'm not. I guess if you don't naturally have the magical abilities that, you know, lots of people are into having the magic items, I don't know, that just feels unnatural to me. I kind of like, you know, like I do my thing and that's me, you know. But, you know, he's whatever. He does lots of stuff, so, you know, he's got magic items. And at least one of them totally prevents you from, you know, like reading his mind or...
Well, that's not a thing that I really dabble in too much anyway. I prefer to let people come to the correct conclusion on their own.
Make a deception check because you have a magic item that theoretically...
Well, I'm not saying I don't have them at all.
Well, okay, so I guess if you feel like, if you, Starla, feel like Nira is being just completely honest there, she's kind of leaving out that she has a magic item.
I don't actually use that. I can count on one hand the amount of times that she's used that ring to detect thoughts.
That's true. Okay, so if you feel like she's not being dishonest, then yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm lying about that. It's yeah. I mean, you know, I've got the one that, you know, gives me a boost every now and then, but
Yeah.
I like to flex my own abilities, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Oh, it's getting late though, don't you think?
Well, you know, I don't sleep, so...
I'm just kind of worn out. It's a long day.
All right. Well, I would hate to keep you up if you need to sleep. And, you know, if you are just absolutely determined, Zorath's bedchamber is the one at the end of the hall. And she kind of wanders away.
Dang, shapeshifter called me out. All right.
Professional drama creator.
Mm-hmm.
So after your conversation, Archie, Cadence, Ket, did you guys go off to like find a room or?
Yeah, I wanted to find a room with Cadence, of course.
Yes.
And kind of curl up with Cadence, and just kind of. How are you doing, Cade? Are you okay with everything so far?
I mean, I don't think that we have much choice, really. I don't know. Are you okay?
I mean, the Archie fellow seems nice. You
Yeah.
know? And the rest of them,
I mean, he's honest.
I mean, their cleric needs a little work, but I mean, for the most
But
part.
she does like the lightning stuff. That is exciting.
Did you see when she rode your arrow like that?
That was crazy.
I don't know what that was, but that was impressive. But I just meant, like, in the overall grand scheme of things, you know? I mean, I just want to make sure that you're okay, you know? We've been petrified for a long time, and we don't know how we're going to get home yet. And I just wanted to make sure
I don't even know if there is a home to go to. And it makes me sad because I left my mother. And she was all alone. And I just left her with the promise that one day I would come back. With all these stories to tell. So that makes me very sad. But out of everything, I'm really glad that I still have you.
Yes, there's no one I would rather have been petrified with than you, you know? But don't feel too bad about your mother, you know? You did not know when you left that this was all going to happen. So it's not your fault.
I know.
Something went wrong, but we will figure it out. These people, I think, will help us if we help them, you know?
Yeah, I think that I think it. You know, we work well in a group.
Yes.
I
you
miss
know?
our friends,
It
but
would be nice to eventually find out what happened to the Voyager's Pride. I suspect now they're all dead, but I don't know.
maybe they got petrified somewhere and they're waiting for us to come and find them.
One can only hope, you know?
You know,
Everything
they
is
never
so...
could. They never could get along well without us. I'm sure that.
I mean, I never wish for anybody to be petrified, but
No.
if it was going to be somebody, I wouldn't it could be them, you know?
It would be Chance. He deserved it. He had it coming.
Yes. But, it is late, though, and we do need a rest.
Yeah.
Would it be okay if I sung you to sleep?
I would like that very much.
It's been a long time since I've gotten a chance to do that. You know, we would travel so much in the wilds, and you would look out for me, and I would look out for you, and it's just been a while. So I've been working on a little song since we have come into this world.
You're always
So here.
thinking.
Let's curl up together, and I will sing to you to sleep. And I will just sort of take Cadence and just snuggle her close and just sing, "Rock-a-bye Cadence in the emerald tree. When the wind blows, you'll know you are free. When the bough breaks, we'll find our way home. And down will come answers for one and all."
It doesn't-
Good night, Cadence.
Good night.
And I kiss her on the forehead.
Aw. Otterkey, I think as you're maybe parting ways with Cadence and Ket, Arwen kind of peeks up in your little backpack and starts kind of gnawing on your horn again.
Oh, yeah. You need food. And probably some water. I will rummage around. I've got hardtack rations, probably not the best. For a bunny. Zura said he had some stuff, so I'll rummage around.
All right. Make an
See what I can
investigation
find.
check. Anything that you have in your own stuff, well, you can just have. But if you're checking for
Yeah, I was
other
gonna
stuff,
say. See if there's something pressure. And it's probably not great. My investigation, yeah, it's +0, so hey, 11.
11. Yeah. You do find just some very basic sort of travel ration and like water skin stuff.
I'll definitely let her out of the backpack
All right.
and give her some water.
She kind of hops around a little bit, but looks like she doesn't want to go too far from you. She's acting a little bit scared.
Make sure you
That's
clean
fine.
out that backpack.
Turn it upside down. A few
See,
pellets
do
fall
I have
out.
anything else? That's good. Yeah, I don't have anything else particular that's going to be appetizing either, so I'm gonna crumble up some of this ration stuff and see if she'll eat it.
She nibbles at it a little bit.
I don't know. Hopefully we won't be here too long. So that's the top of the list, for sure.
Do you go off and find a room?
And yeah, find a room to curl up in.
All right. How about you, Nira?
Well, I have one more thing to do. I have to knock on his door.
Okay.
I have a question.
Oh boy.
I have a question. I legitimately have a question.
All right. Sure. He opens the door, and I think actually, I think he's in there. As opposed to doing his other preparations, he needed some rest as well. So, but he does answer the door, and he just looks at you and says, can I help you?
Well, I had a question for you. I was thinking of any ways that I might be able to help you in putting up protections in this place. And I have this particular spell that I thought might be helpful, and I would have to prepare it. And it does take 24 hours, but could be worth it.
Tell me.
So, what I am describing to him is the spell Hallow.
Okay.
It's because I don't know how these creatures are classified exactly, so I'm not sure if this will actually work. First, celestials, elementals, fays, fiends, and undead can't enter the area, nor can such creatures charm, frighten, or possess creatures within it.
Okay.
And then you can put a secondary effect on the area. You can bind an extra effect to the area, choose from the effects of the following list, or choose an effect offered by the GM.
I think he mentions when you're describing some of that, he will remind you that Jinxie is technically a fiend.
Well, I don't know if I don't think I can alter this spell to offer her that protection as well. It's problematic. Did you have any ideas?
My plan involved various glyphs of warding that I know how to make, and I could show you, but my magic comes from study rather than connection to a spirit. So I
still find all of it fascinating.
Well, I could use your assistance in any case if you are offering.
I would be more than happy to help.
We shall begin once we've had a chance to rest. There is no day here, but when we are rested, we shall begin.
When we're rested, of course. Right.
He again, he makes a little bit of like a slightly confused expression, like, I'm missing something. Your behavior is confusing to me.
I just find you fascinating, that's all. I know we didn't start out well, but I will admit to a considerable amount of ignorance at the time. And everything just happened so fast.
That is to be expected. It would be surprising indeed for anyone to have known about any of this in advance.
But I'm curious about all the things you've come to know and everything you've studied. Just the amount of knowledge alone that you have is amazing to me.
Indeed, as someone who always sought knowledge, it is a surprising turn of events to find oneself adrift in a sea of it.
I can only imagine. But I imagine it was also very lonely.
Make a persuasion check.
Having way too much fun with this. 18.
He kind of thinks on that a little bit, and he says, lonely is not the way I would describe it, because in many respects, while I was distributed across the plains in that way, there was a separation of sorts. I was not myself in the same way. I did not feel alone because I did not feel anything per se. It was only towards the end of that time that I was able to collect enough of myself that I could once again process my own thoughts and plans rather than simply be overwhelmed with experiences. It was at that time that I began pursuing you, because you and your fellows, the ones present at the ritual, shone like stars.
It's slightly difficult not to be flattered by that.
Well, I believe it was simply a consequence of you being present at the time that the ritual went wrong.
Well, regardless, it's a little poetic to be compared to stars.
I suppose I've never had much of an ear for poetry.
Well, it's another part of knowledge, I suppose. It has its place. It's a part of of experiences in how people take in knowledge of the world around them and how they interpret it. It isn't without merit.
Perhaps you can tell me about it as we prepare the glyphs tomorrow.
I would be happy to. So I will turn and wave a little. This is going to be either really terrible or amazing.
I heard you had a problem, and I might have the right tools for it.
Kira, go ahead and make an insight check.
Oh, God.
Well, that wasn't great. Hold on, what is it? 7? Ooh, I forgot. I went up, so I have a +8 now. So that is a 19.
Okay. He's pretty hard to read generally, but you get the sense that he's definitely picking up on a vibe, but it's sort of unexpected, and he doesn't seem to know how to process it. It's just so like he wasn't anticipating anything like that, and so he's kind of off balance a little bit as a result.
Well, Mira's a little weird, so, you know. Oh, that was fun. Okay.
All right. So are you finding your own room to do your trance
Yes.
rest in? Okay.
I will find a place.
All right. As you're doing your meditation, you do receive sort of a brief vision of Mount Rashama, but it darkens subtly, as though clouds have passed between, over the sun. And that's all. All of you, upon completing your long rest, I need everyone to make a wisdom saving throw, please. And since Archie is off in his own room, no one else gets his aura.
Wisdom.
20.
19.
Not natural.
Okay.
Also
19.
20, not natural.
4.
4?
4.
Okay.
Womp womp.
What about you,
10.
Alaric? 10? Okay. So, Ket, I need you to roll a d6 for me.
D6. Okay. 1.
Okay, you have, so all of you overnight are just continuing to feel just this place, it's just heavy. There's this feeling like this is where things grind to a stop and it's an absence of energy, and it's just very heavy. It's kind of unpleasant, but for you, Ket, it really just gets in your head, and currently you are afflicted with apathy, which what that means mechanically is you have disadvantage on death saving throws and dexterity checks for initiative. And at present, you have the following flaw. I don't believe I can make a difference to anyone or anything.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. But you all awake. And at least as far as you can tell, there's no change whatsoever outside. It's just as dark.
Yeah, I'm used to that. One cave versus another. I'll look for food.
Okay. You heading down to kind of look through the what? Did everyone have like party supplies or something?
Is there balloons?
Come on down to Party City, Shadowfell. The Shadowfell branch. Everything's black. Yeah, so you can make an investigation check.
Can certainly try. That is a 15.
Okay. You find kind of tucked away under some other stuff is it's what looks like a sort of a preserved sausage. This is in gear. This is not like found in this empty larder of the keep. This is, in stuff. But there is what looks like kind of a summer sausage sort of thing. It looks tastier than some of the basic rations that you guys have been eating.
I'll leave it out. You might want it.
So I think as you're stirring a little bit, Jinxie had apparently just been sitting on the steps and kind of just looks up and says, "Somebody's up." So, hey, we, don't know each other that well. Obviously, I have some history with the others that I don't know if they've filled you in, but hey, come on, we're early risers. Let's get to know each other.
Yeah. Nothing you say is the truth, so anything you're going to say about your history is probably a lie.
Probably.
So let's just skip to the end where I just did agree to not believe anything you said anyway. How's that?
Well, just because you don't believe anything I say, does that mean we can't be friends?
Makes it kind of a hard basis for trust, yeah.
You're a tough nut to crack, Alaric.
We're made of rock, so they say.
Alright. Well, just so you know, I'm gonna win you over. It's gonna happen. Just you wait.
That's going to be a dark day. Look, do you eat at least? Is there some food around here? All I found was a sausage.
Well, we don't have much. I mean, I think that, between you and me, I think this is all going a lot better than Zorath thought it was going to. I don't think he was really expecting you guys to just, follow him. I thought I think he thought you guys were going to be a little harder to convince.
Sometimes the door you go through is the only door you've got. You may not like it, but you go anyway.
Well, just as well. Anyway, so my point is that I don't think he had, in mind, he didn't prepare in advance all the stuff needed to make it comfortable for a bunch of people to hang out here for a while. This was like his, backup safe house.
Well, this is going to take a couple of days, he said, to get everything ready, so...
I know. It's the worst.
We need to make a supply run at the very least. Through one of those portals, I think.
Yeah, we could go to Ushpithra.
Doesn't sound like a place that's really friendly to getting supplies at the minute.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's like all the chaos. You just grab whatever you want.
That's not how it works, but that is possible.
You know what? Between you and me, and I think she goes in to put her arm around your shoulders if you let her.
Around the red shoulder?
Well, just over your shoulders. She doesn't seem to be afraid of your arm or anything.
I kind of keep an eye on her.
By the way, your arm is definitely feeling let's see, just the. I guess it's nonverbal to say that it's skeeved out.
By her?
Yeah.
Or by this place?
By this whole situation.
Yeah.
But it's not like mad or scared as much as like this is kind of gross.
That I can agree with.
But anyway, yeah, Jinxie kind of just puts her arm around you and it just says, Alaric, between you and me, that is actually how it works. You just go and take stuff and it's fine.
He takes stuff if he needed. Yeah, maybe, but sounds like those people need a lot more than we do.
All right, well, seems like you just voluntarily playing life on a higher difficulty setting, which is up to you, I guess.
What the hell does that mean? You're weird.
You're just making things harder than they need to be, is my point.
Things are hard, that's the point. Can't be all easy.
Yeah, well, especially when you don't let them be.
What's that supposed to mean? You gotta let life be easy. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Life has to be fair. Fair for everybody. If you're stealing from someone, they better deserve it.
Want to make a bet on that? On
I think that's
fairness?
bad, yeah. For with you, how the hell could I make a bet on fairness?
Probably not a good idea. You're right. I'd find a way to cheat you because life's not fair.
No, individuals aren't fair. Life doesn't care one way or the other. It's how we treat life that matters. What are you? Who are you anyway?
Jinxie.
Never mind. You're just
Look,
fine.
Alright, I'm gonna level with you here. Okay?
That's gonna be first.
Well, look. I'm just trying to have fun. There's a lot of boring stuff that happens in life. And there's exciting stuff. And I work to make it more exciting and less boring. And that's pretty much who I am.
What's the
You can
point?
believe that or not. You can say that's a lie, but why would I lie about that? Up
What's
to
the
you.
point anyway? I mean, of all of this,
To have more fun and be less bored. Seems like that's enough point, isn't it?
but what's it leading to? We fix everything, right? Everything goes back the way it was.
Look,
Except that we never were. It never happened. It never was like this. So what's the point of being like happy now if it's just gonna all go away?
what's the point in being unhappy now?
It's more realistic.
Is it?
Keeps your edge up just in case someone wants to stab you or kill you or lie to you. Trust isn't easy. Especially not now.
Well, no one said anything about trust. I'm just talking about being less boring.
Yeah. I don't know if
And
I
believe
agree
me,
with you.
at least when I was there yesterday, Uthbithra right now, not boring. This place, a little boring.
It didn't sound less boring. It sounded terrible. It sounded like it was dangerous, like people were in trouble.
That seems pretty exciting to me.
I'd rather not have that kind of excitement.
Yeah, suit
How
yourself.
bad was it? How bad was it, though? I mean, why was the thing was it stomping on something in particular, or just...
Well, okay, so, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and use what I suspect is your definition of bad to say, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Great.
I mean,
Maybe we'll have to
you
go.
know those people? I mean,
Some of them. But even the ones I don't know, they don't deserve to be just randomly stepped on.
well,
though it doesn't
I
matter.
mean, they're probably there because of you guys, whatever's happening. I
How do you
mean,
figure?
right? Well,
Why?
because everybody's chasing you around for that thing, right? So probably this spirit that has just done its own thing for hundreds and hundreds of years, and just right as you guys disappear into a portal, it comes in to stomp the city. It's probably there because it was looking for you guys, or whatever's controlling it is.
Controlling it. You don't think it was on there on its own?
Well, why would it be? It's a big dumb land turtle.
Who knows what a big dumb land turtle's supposed to do. Maybe
Fair
it's supposed to
enough. I don't know.
wander around.
Maybe nobody's controlling it at all. Maybe it was looking for you all by its own self, and it thinks that the best way to find you is to stomp all the buildings flat.
Well, it's pretty dumb. I gotta wake the others. I'm gonna go see if I can find any of the others awake.
All right. I'm glad we had this chat.
I'm not.
I'll wake up and make my way out to the common area or wherever they are.
Alright.
Just kind of
Alright.
mopily
So-
look around for food.
All right. So do you maybe kind of wander out and hear the tail end of that conversation?
If I could, yeah.
Sure. I think I think as Jinxie is noticing Alaric kind of giving up on that conversation, you get the feeling she's been sitting up all night with no one to talk to and not happy about that, and so she's kind of just latching on. So she just kind of says, "Hey, you're new, so like, what's your deal?"
Oh, you're a morning person, aren't you?
Well, there's no real morning here because there's no sun.
Well, morning in the sense that you go to sleep and then you wake up.
Sure.
And then it's morning. Yes,
I didn't go to
yes,
sleep either, but whatever.
I can tell. Yes, my name is Ket of this end. I don't know if we've been formally introduced. I've heard people call you
now
Jinxie,
we have.
yes?
Yeah, and she, reaches out to shake your hand. Jinxie's the name. Also the
Yes.
game, which is, kind of who I am.
Yes, well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Jinxie.
Mhm.
What is Jinxie?
So
Is she human or
what
is she?
what you saw,
Yeah.
as far as the series of events as far as you were concerned is that you saw Zoreth and a human woman with kind of a smirk. And then it turned out that the human woman, which is actually what Jinxie looks like now, was actually an illusion spell on Zoreth to disguise him for their plan.
Okay.
And so what looks like Zoreth was actually Jinxie, that when she changed back to look like she does now, it was a transition and not like an illusion spell being dismissed. So right now, she looks like a human woman.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, yes, it is nice to meet you, Jinxie.
Sure. What's it like with all the fur? I kind of want to try that. And she kind of concentrates for a moment, and kind of her ears shift up and grows fur. She becomes a tabaxi. Like, that's kind of fun.
Well, what's it like with all that skin? And I cast polymorph and polymorph myself into a human.
I think she laughs and kind of claps. It's like, that's amazing.
Yes, that is interesting.
What does Ket look like as a human?
Ket looks like same height and everything, fair skin, basically looks like any other like street bard that you would see like just in the city. Simple clothes, tunic, maybe a hat with a feather in it, but nothing too elaborate, just sort of like to be able to blend in.
Sure. Okay, so yeah, I think as a tabaxi, Jinxie's kind of like mostly black fur with like white highlights, kind of like along like underside of the jaw and neck maybe, but mostly black and sort of yeah. So she sees you change too, and she's like, "Oh, that's great. That's a spell."
Yeah, that's just
She
the
kind of
spell
she
that I
pokes
have.
you and is like, "Oh, nice." Like, yeah. See, that's a lot better than those just the illusions. Those, I mean, illusions are good for changing your outfits or whatever, but I don't know. I just kind of
I find illusions easier to detect.
right. Yeah.
You
See.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. See, like this is why. So I was so ticked off because I had this whole plan where I was going to trick these other guys, and apparently the horned one can just tell that I'm Well, okay, between you and me, I'm a fiend. It's it's the thing. Okay, but look, I mean, like he could just tell, like. So I have this whole elaborate disguise plan. I've got all this inside information to fool them, and he just got like magic fiend sense or something. It kind of was a little irritating, actually.
Well, different creatures can do different things. You just have to pick your battles and know what you're dealing with. I guess you,
Well, it just means I'm gonna have to work harder if I want to fool him in the future.
Yes, I guess it will. That's a good look for you, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I kind of like the ears. She's kind of.
Yes, they're very perky. I like perky ears.
Oh yeah. She kind of like sidles up to you. How much?
Not
do you
that
like
much.
him? Oh,
Not that much.
All right.
I sidle away. But I am hungry, and I would like to find some food. Do you have any chicken?
Incidentally, at this point, I think Zorath comes down, and he kind of just stops for a moment and looks at the two of you. Seeing you in human form and her in tabaxi form, and just kind of makes a vague snort of disgust and starts digging through one of the packs. Jinxie says, "No, I don't think we do. I mean, we don't have much. We mostly just have the travel rations, which is why maybe we should make a supply run to Ushbithra." She kind of says for Zorath's benefit.
I am all for a supply run if it means getting more provisions for myself and the group. I'm sure we are all in need of things. Are you in need of things, Jinxie?
And she says, "I am in need of a more interesting place."
Yes, the Shadowfell we are in.
Yeah.
It's left me. I don't like it.
It's pretty awful, right? Like, it's just like, ugh. It's just heavy.
It's very depressing.
Yeah. So, Zorath, are we gonna you gonna let us do this thing or what? I think probably at this point, any of the rest of you who hadn't come down yet probably would have been kind of hearing some of this because she's not being quiet.
Nira has taken a little extra time to make sure her hair is brushed well.
When I come out, I just sort of see the two of them standing there, like her as a tabaxi and this strange human bard. And I'm just like...
I see Cadence and I drop concentration on polymorph and go back to Cat. Hi, Cadence. I was just... never mind.
I think... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna be like, why were you being one of those humans?
I don't know.
I think at this point, Jinxie kind of sidles up next to you, Cadence, and just says, "It's just fun to just try new experiences sometimes, don't you think?"
Sure. I don't know what you mean, but yeah, that your fur is very nice. Is a good look for you?
Yeah. And then she shifts again and becomes a male tabaxi and just kind of says, "Is this more what you're looking for?"
I actually kind of push her away with my tail.
Okay.
I go up and I take Cadence by the hand. I'm like,
okay.
Come on, let's get out
Jinxie
there.
shifts back into her human form with, a playful expression.
As we're like walking away, I'm like, do they have any chicken?
No, they don't have any chicken. We need to go get supplies.
I'm so hungry.
I
feel like I haven't eaten for 10,000 years.
I think Zorath had been sort of digging through, sort of trying to ignore the conversation by finding something to eat and not finding anything good. So I think after sort of a long sigh, he just says, "As long as everyone understands that this is not something that can be allowed to interfere with our primary goal, if it is a quick trip to procure necessary supplies, it probably would be safer to go to Gorn instead. But if you feel that you all must go to Ushbithra, then Very well. Be careful.
Will you be staying behind to work on the glyphs? And the wards?
Yes, I don't believe that there's any need for me to accompany you, and there is work to be done.
Well, I did promise to help you. And I would hate to back out on a promise.
Your assistance
Stay.
would be appreciated.
Go, whatever.
Are you feeling alright this morning? You seem out of sorts.
Make an insight check, Nira.
That is a insight. I have to do math. Okay, 25.
I think you, with that high, I think you are able to tell that, like, something's getting to him that didn't seem to be yesterday. Like, he is definitely acting differently.
Is this something Greater Restoration might take care of?
It might.
I
mean, you felt yourself that this place, there's just a heaviness to the energy in this plane, and you felt it yourself, even though you were able to kind of push past it. And so you have also seen in the past how just exposure to different planes can mess people up sometimes. So it seems possible.
Well, given the nature of Greater Restoration and the using of the positive energy to sort of cleanse them of their conditions, I'm going to try it. I am going to concentrate and focus on him and cast Greater Restoration in hopes that it works.
Ket, as Nira's spell kind of washes over you, you do find this leaden apathy that had settled over you lifting, and you feel more or less back to normal.
Man. Nira, I don't know what you did, but thank you.
Well, I'm not a completely terrible cleric.
No, I'm sorry if I was snippy with you. This place just gets to you, you know?
I know, it's very... Yeah, no, I feel it too. It's alright,
Okay.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yes, thank you. Now, about that chicken.
So Otterkey, are you still up in your room?
No, yeah, I'll definitely come down and,
Okay.
join everybody.
Yeah, I think
Get Owen set back up in the backpack and...
yeah, Jinxie's, continuing to make the rounds, so as you come out, I think she kind of, sidles up and just says, "Hey, we're going to do a supply run to Ushpithra. That's going to be fun, right? Yeah? You in?"
That sounds exciting. Yeah, I'm in.
All right. So are you intending to stay behind, Nira?
I kind of really want to see this through. I also really want to go, but there's a window of opportunity here.
Sure.
So I didn't find anybody then. I didn't find anybody, so I made it all the way to the roof and then start my way back down.
Yeah. It's I mean, you didn't get there's no one. It's this place, as far as you can tell. You only ever saw the those, or you didn't even really see them, but there's just those those shades in the town.
I mean, any of them. I went looking for them after the kitchen, and they all made it the way to the kitchen, and I didn't see them.
Okay.
I clearly went to the back stairs.
Okay, I guess I maybe missed something. If I didn't realize if you were looking for them. I kind of pick up on that.
I come back into the
Sorry.
kitchen. Ah, there you are. Place is full of extra stairs. We have to go to Ushpithra. Nira, Otterkey, I think it's our fault.
When is
What?
it not?
Well, if even half of what that thing is to be believed, it's getting
Jinxie
pounded
kind of
flat.
goes, "He means me."
Yeah, it's being pounded flat.
So
Dress
my
and-
my thought here is that if we especially both Archie and me. If we both go, we're so few of us left now.
What do you mean by that? There's more of us than there were before.
There are 5 of us. Were there many of you before?
Except if we take that brat with us.
But it's true.
Jinxie says
Come and go.
they used to have this white-haired lady and a little fox guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm wondering if maybe it's not better for me to stay behind this time and see to the defenses and help where I can.
What are you, nuts?
Here.
You expect us to go out there alone without you? Hell, the last 4 fights I wouldn't have survived if you weren't there.
well, I mean, I can heal a little bit. Hey, hey.
I
We've-
also can. I
I
mean,
appreciate that.
There.
But
There you
Mirror
go.
knows spirits, and this thing is a gigantic, big-ass spirit.
I also know some things about spirit
I mean-
and undead.
Are we going to fight this thing, or we're just running in for supplies, aren't we? Running in and running out?
No, at least that's not my intention. I
Oh.
can't let those people get hurt. Not anymore. I know it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for any of them, really, but I can't help shake the feeling that it's something to do.
Well, you raise a good point.
But we have a goal. We have a focus. There's something.
And nothing's going to happen in a couple of days, because Zorath over there is going to cross all the I's and dot all the T's.
Right, and it will take less time if I'm helping.
Is that so, Zorath?
In theory, we can't be tracked right now.
He says that the rituals that I must prepare, the glyphs, although it is necessary for me to cast the primary magic incantation, there is a lot of setup, you might say, and a second pair of hands would come in handy.
Well, let me ask this: if we go and Nira stays behind, I mean, how far are we going? Like, would it take Nira long to get there? Because I could always, if we get into trouble and we need Nira, I can let her know, and she can come to us if we're not going
I don't know
far.
where the portal opens up and...
That's what I mean. Yeah, like how far is it?
So Zorath says the portal that we have upstairs leads to a hilltop some half-mile outside of the city.
The other side from Carrot and Stick's place, I hope.
Yes, that portal, the one we traveled through from the elemental plane of Earth, I opened up because Jinxie's plan went somewhat awry. It was an emergency measure.
Still like to also see if they're okay. I don't want to go anywhere near the house. I don't want to put them in any more danger, but at least to see from a distance.
We have a larger goal, and I would rather spend my time working towards that. Something
Sure.
that will make a real difference.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, I don't mean to be a party pooper or anything like that, but if we're going to, entangle ourselves with a giant land turtle that is smooshing people, I mean, that would make a difference in their lives, would it not?
True.
I mean, we're making a difference wherever we go, right? So,
Archie, you may need to fill them in.
I mean, is there some
Yeah, I
big
was
bad
going to
evil
last
chasing
night.
you people?
I think I was late.
This thing is there probably because we were there, which means it's somehow connected to all this stuff.
And if we go back, that's... I don't see what that solves.
I think at this point, Zorath kind of just says, this is starting to sound less and less like a supply run.
I never said it was a supply run.
What do you think, Cadence?
I don't understand the scope of what it is we are meant to be doing here.
Yes, that's
So
why
it is difficult for me to gauge the importance of what is happening in this other place compared to what we need to accomplish here.
Well, the TLDR is saving the multiverse from being destroyed. All planes of existence.
Probably.
I mean, that seems pretty important.
Certainly. Yeah, at Alarix probably, Zoreth says certainly.
I mean, I haven't seen my home for God knows how long. So, I would like it to be saved so I could perhaps see it again. So, I mean, saving all of the multiverses seems important. But at the same time, if there's this place...
You can't do it on an empty stomach, right?
Well, that too. But at the same time, though, if there's this place, Uzbithra, is that how you say it? Ushbithra. So Ushbithra, if there is this place that is being decimated by a giant turtle,
it just serves to put us back in their crosshairs. And
right. I think Zoreth at this point kind of just says, I think my feelings on this subject are clear. There's a portal upstairs that would take you to Gorn, which from a supply run standpoint would be much safer. That would be my recommendation. However, I understand that we are in a circumstance where your cooperation is necessary. And as such, if all of you feel it necessary to return to Ushbithra, I would ask only that you not risk yourselves needlessly, given the stakes. But if that is your wish, I will not interfere with your ability to travel there.
Jinxie,
Alright.
you were to this Ushbithra, and you said that it was exciting there.
Yeah.
If you had to make a guess, how long do you think that the excitement will last?
Well, so it was already pretty chaotic, but it seemed new when I was there. But that was yesterday, so who knows what's happened since then. But that said, the kind of stuff that was going on doesn't seem like it gets wrapped up in a 24-hour period. So, I don't know. I want to see.
Is Ubishra the kind of place where we can pop through the portal, see what's going on, and pop back if we need to? Like, can we see what's going on from the portal?
Yeah, especially if it's a half hour or a half mile.
Yeah, we're coming out on a hill. We'll be able to see we'll be able to see the city out before us, and so if that thing's still there, we'll definitely see that.
Because we could always just pop through and just scope out the excitement.
Yeah.
And if it's something that needs to be addressed right away, then we can come back through the portal and talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean...
It sounds good. Let's go.
You make it sound like this was something that you all felt very responsible for. You want to make it right.
it isn't something that we did. It's other people who have done it that...
Yes, there are
Because of it.
various forces, evil, fey, and otherwise, that are chasing us and don't seem to...
Oh, did we mention Faye are after
care
us?
for
It's wonderful.
people.
Yes, I kind of picked up on that, but I don't quite know why. I'm sure you can tell us it, along the way.
So they have no druthers about hurting mortals to get what they want. So
The point is, it
definitely
won't matter
feel
later.
responsible.
Depending on whose theory you believe, maybe Nirkina. I've heard 2 so far, maybe 3 even. 1, everything just goes back. Everything starts over again, basically. Another, things go forward. And everything that we've done so far matters. And everything that we don't do, everything we ignore, matters even more. And the third one is, both of those are full of shit. And no matter what we do, it's coming to a head, and we have to meet it head on with as many people as we can. Because it's bigger than just 2 or 3 or 5 of us. And if that's the case, then we also need to know there are people that we've helped, who we can count on.
Well, that's what I intend to do. I intend to help somebody that can help us. And I am going to leave, and I'm going to go upstairs. Done. I'm done with the argument. I made up my mind.
I'll head towards the portal.
I think if we can go, I kind of agree with Alaric. I think if we can go and do some good, and if someone is after us and chasing us, maybe running isn't the best idea. At least not. At least if we can go and defeat this land turtle thing, we can show these people that they may be bit off a bit more than they can chew.
I think it might also be important, as Alaric said, to save these people, because what if one day we need allies?
Yeah, if we are to succeed, we certainly don't want them to have perished
The stone
you
giants aren't
needlessly.
ready to take
You don't
it.
save the multiverse with just 5 people.
No.
You need allies. You need friends that you can count on. So I think you're absolutely right, Cadence. It's cause and effect. You do good deeds, and good deeds will come back to you.
That is true, but I also think it is important to help people.
Yes, of course.
At least until we can get word of the stone giants.
And also maybe we could get some chicken.
Yes, and some
Yes,
chicken.
breakfast.
Let's go at least scope it out. We'll leave Nira to do her thing, and we can go scope it out.
Let's go.
All right, so I think all of you make your way upstairs. Alaric, or excuse me, Zora does follow in order to temporarily disable the traps, just to not interfere with your transit. He basically taps them with his wand and says that they are disabled for the next 24 hours or until he reverses it himself. And so those of you who are standing up there, you see this glowing purple light of this tear in space and time, and you're told that's
Purple.
the one.
I hate purple.
All right.
All right.
I'll head on through.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
I take Cadence's hand and we head through.
All right. As you emerge, it is what you would guess is mid-morning, and you're standing atop a hill that's covered in this tall golden grass. It's definitely bright, but it's also a little hazy, and you realize you smell smoke. And you look down across the city, and you see it sort of spread out in the valley beneath. But what you also see standing in the middle of it, stationary for the moment, is this enormous spirit, basically just standing astride the city center. And you can see that big swaths of the city have been just demolished, and there's a few fires burning here and there. But for the moment, the spirit is just standing there. And I think that's where we'll end tonight. All right.
All right.
I'm sorry, y'all, but what's good for Nira is good for Nira.
Yeah, she's got something going on. She's diseased or something. I'm not sure.
All
what it
this
is.
for a booty call. We're gonna let those people die so you can get the booty.
So it just means I have to plan dual encounters next time.
Split the party.
We still haven't
Hey, if you guys
decided that
die,
we're
you
going
can come
to-
back.
We still haven't decided that we're going to actually engage with this land spirit turtle thing yet.
We'll see.
Oh, you know we are.
I need to ask more questions first.
What is that turtle
Yeah, so
doing?
for sure for Cat and Cadence, this thing it essentially resembles sort of a turtle or a tortoise in shape,
Mhm.
but its shell is covered with sort of rocks and soil, and there's this tall yellowish grass that's just everywhere. It covers the back of this turtle's shell. It covers the hillside that you're standing on, and all of you see that it actually has encroached into the city limits where it hadn't before. And this turtle is from head to tail is 250 feet long, and it
That's what I was going to ask.
the top of
size.
its shell is maybe 60 feet in the air.
Okay. It's pretty big.
I'm looking at the chat right now. Just tune in next week for Hot Elven Nights.
Oh boy.
All right, so thank you everybody, and we'll be back. I think it's possible that next week will actually be something a little different. I've got some plans. We'll see. But in the meantime, one way or another, we'll be back next week for more adventure on so many
levels.
Rated M for mature.